Before we begin, viewer discretion is strongly advised. What follows is the courtroom testimony from the federal trial of Sean Diddy Combs, as reported by various news outlets. All events and statements are for entertainment and educational purposes only. The courtroom had heard from victims, from celebrities, even from Kanye, but nothing prepared them for Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. When he entered the room, it wasn't quiet. It was tense, not because people feared what he might say, but because they knew he wouldn't hold back. Black suit, no tie, diamond earrings, a grin like he'd been waiting 20 years for this moment. He stepped up to the witness stand, nodded to the judge like he was at a movie premiere, and sat. "You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?" 50 chuckled. "Truth's all I got. You know I don't do PR." The courtroom braced. He adjusted the mic like it owed him money. "First off, let me just say, I ain't here to fake concern. I'm here because y'all been watching a monster cook for decades, and suddenly, you surprised the fire alarm went off." He pointed casually at Diddy. "This man been out of control since dial-up." Some jurors laughed, nervously. "Y'all shocked by that hotel footage? Man, please. That was a Tuesday for Puff. Dude been wild since the shiny suit era. He been doing the same moves, just without the background dancers." The prosecutor tried to redirect. "Mr. Jackson, please focus on your personal experiences with the defendant." 50 smirked. "Oh, we gonna do that?" He leaned forward, voice dropping just a little. "Puff's whole career is a shell game. Ain't no artist ever made it out of Bad Boy alive, except him. Mace? Gone? Loon? Disappeared? Black Rob? Dead broke? Total? Totally missing." He ticked off names like an executioner checking his list. "You know what Puff really good at? Exploiting loyalty. He make you feel like family, then lock you in a deal that take your soul and your master's." The judge cleared his throat. "Mr. Jackson?" "Relax, Judge. I ain't done. Let me tell you how I figured him out." 50 sat back, arms crossed. 2006. He tried to pull me into that Revolt TV pitch. Said we could change the culture. What he meant was, I work, he owns. I said no. Next week, I'm getting calls from gossip blogs talking 50, got anger issues. That's Puff's way. You don't play ball, he throw mud. He paused, serious now. "It ain't just the business, it's the energy. There's something off about him, real dark. Like, people don't act right around him. They act scared. Even billionaires. That's when I knew he ain't just rich. He's got something else." He turned and looked at the jury. "You ever seen power weaponized like that? I have. Puff weaponized relationships, weaponized secrets, weaponized favors. And when you speak up, he got 10 ways to make you regret it." He pulled a folded paper from his jacket. "This here? Diddy sent me this in 2018. Said I was hurting the culture with my posts." He held it up. The courtroom squinted. "It's a screenshot of my own Instagram post. He printed it out and mailed it to my office. On the back, it said, 'Be careful what you say.' Signed it with a smiley face." The gallery let out a low gasp. 50 grinned. "I kept it. Frame-worthy threat." The judge asked, "Do you feel Mr. Combs ever retaliated against you directly?" "Nah, not directly. Puff don't stab you. He lets you fall, then posts the footage with a quote about loyalty." He leaned in one last time. "Y'all want my testimony? Here it is. Puff ain't just bad news. He is the headline. You don't survive in his circle. You serve in it. And if you're lucky, you get out broke. If not, you get found on a timeline." 50 Cent took a sip from the water glass next to him, then shook his head. "Let me break it down. Real clear. This trial ain't about Puff suddenly getting wild. This trial's about the moment y'all finally stopped looking away." He held up 2 fingers. I got 2 rules in life. Never owe nobody and never act surprised by something you already knew was coming. That's why I'm not shocked by the Cassie footage. I'm shocked it took this long for it to come out." The prosecutor nodded slightly, gesturing for him to expand. "You want to know what Puff's biggest crime is? He made evil look like elevation, like it was some kind of VIP pass to success." He turned to the jury again, his voice slow and deliberate. "You ever been to one of his parties? It's like Disneyland for dysfunction. Everything looks shiny, everybody smells like expensive cologne and regret. There's always candles, mirrors, velvet ropes, and the second you start feeling comfortable, that's when it gets weird." He paused, his eyes narrowed. "Phones go in baskets, security looks like they trained in Wakanda. Nobody says what's actually happening, but you know, you're being watched." He gestured to the courtroom gallery. "I ain't naming names, but I seen a list dudes sitting cross-legged on the floor like toddlers while Puff holds court in a robe. No drugs, just power. Pure, raw, uncut control." The courtroom stirred. A few jurors looked disturbed. Now imagine growing up in that world like Justin Bieber did. People ask why that kid went off the rails. Try hanging with Puff at 15. That man didn't mentor Bieber. He inducted him. Gasps again. Even Diddy flinched at the table. The judge interjected. "Mr. Jackson, keep your statements based on personal knowledge." 50 grinned. "I got plenty of knowledge. I know Puff used to pull people close and say, 'We gonna make magic tonight.' But it was always black magic." The prosecution showed a timeline of business dealings between Bad Boy and artists who later sued for exploitation. 50 didn't even look at the screen. "Man, you don't need receipts when the whole industry got memories. You know how many times I had to talk people off the ledge because Puff pushed them too far? Producers, engineers, stylists. Man had people signing NDAs like they were autographs." The courtroom laughed. 50 continued. "The real reason you ain't here more before now? Fear? You cross Puff, and the phone calls stop. The budgets dry up. And then your name disappears from the invites. You ain't blacklisted, you're ghosted." He pulled another folded paper from his pocket. "This right here? It's a text Puff sent a mutual friend after I roasted him online in 2021. Quote, Curtis thinks he's outside the system. He's not. I built the system." He looked up, ice in his voice. "That's the real Diddy, not the guy dancing in the videos, not the love persona, the engineer of silence." 50 leaned in again, elbows on the rail. "Y'all can lock him up, or not, but just know, if he walks out that door, he's not going to rebuild his empire." He paused. "He's going to upgrade it." 50 Cent sat back in the chair like he was done, but he wasn't, not even close. He looked around the courtroom like he was scanning for faces he half expected to duck or squirm. "Y'all think I'm here 'cause I hate Puff? Nah, I'm here 'cause I know him. I know what happens when you don't stop him. And I'm here 'cause nobody else got the heart to say it plain." He shifted forward. "You know what I realized? Puff ain't afraid of consequences. He's afraid of exposure. 'Cause consequences come and go. But exposure? That sticks." He snapped his fingers. "That's why y'all only just now seeing the hotel footage. That's why the freak-offs used to be rumors. That's why people like Cassie had to go to war just to be believed. Because he ran the show, and if you didn't like the script, you got written out." The prosecutor asked him directly, "Mr. Jackson, are you saying Mr. Combs controlled the culture?" 50 smiled like it was a trick question. "Controlled it? He ghost-wrote the damn thing." The judge tried to interject, but 50 kept going. "The man had a hotline to every gossip site, label head, media exec, and bottle girl with a NDA. He could make or break you before your first single dropped. You didn't sign with Bad Boy, you signed with a system." He looked down, hands clenched now. "You want to know why this matters to me? 'Cause I made it without him, and that made me dangerous and lonely." He pointed at the gallery. "You ever wonder why ain't nobody else up here telling the truth? 'Cause they still got deals, they still got bags to protect, they still got skeletons, and Puff got the blueprints to every closet in this industry." 50 shook his head. People scared to say his name out loud, like he Beetlejuice with a Bentley. The courtroom laughed again, too loudly this time. The judge barked, "Order!" 50 didn't blink. "I once told somebody, you don't gotta beat Puff, you just gotta outlive him. And guess what? I did." He leaned forward. "But that don't mean I forgive, and it sure don't mean I forget." He sat back again, folding his arms. He might have built Bad Boy, but he left a whole lot of broken ones behind. For a moment, the room held its breath. 50 Cent let the silence ride, like a beat drop he controlled. Then he spoke again, quieter, more deliberate. "Let me tell you something y'all don't understand about Puff." He looked around the courtroom. "He don't just move money, he moves people. He don't just buy silence, he builds careers on it. You don't realize you're in debt to him till he call you for that favor you don't want to do. And when you say no, you disappear." He pointed directly at the defense table. "He don't burn bridges, he drowns them." The judge cleared his throat. "Mr. Jackson, is this about business retaliation?" 50 nodded. "Yeah, but not just business. It's personal. Puff play this game where he make you think he the plug, then you realize you're the product." He leaned back. "You know how many rappers I seen go from popping champagne to selling sneakers out the trunk, just 'cause they said no to one party? That's not coincidence. That's retribution." The prosecutor asked, "Can you provide names?" 50 raised his eyebrows. "You think I'm stupid? I name names and half this courtroom gets subpoenaed tomorrow." He smirked. "But y'all know who they are? Hell, half of them sitting at home right now watching this trial like it's a Black Mirror episode starring they whole career." A reporter stifled a laugh. The judge didn't bother with the gavel this time. What was the point? "I came here today 'cause y'all keep asking the wrong question. Is Puff guilty? That's not the question. The question is, why did it take this long for anybody to say it out loud?" He stood up for a beat, not in protest, but to let the words land. "Y'all treated Puff like royalty, but the crown he wore? It wasn't gold. It was fear." He tapped the mic with one finger. "And I'm the one that don't scare easy." He sat back down. "So if you're waiting on me to say Puff deserves mercy?" He shook his head slowly. "Nah, he deserves memory. So the next kid that signs a deal don't wake up 10 years later wondering where his soul went." By now, the courtroom didn't know whether to fear 50 Cent or follow him. He wasn't just testifying, he was dismantling a legacy brick by brick. He sat forward once more, hands clasped, tone calm, but full of bite. "You know what's worse than Puff getting away with all this?" He looked around the room. "Y'all letting him, for years." He turned toward the press gallery. "You media people? You didn't investigate. You collaborated. You ain't reporters. You event photographers who type fast." He shifted to the industry reps, sitting in the back row. "All them execs clutching pearls right now? Don't act brand new. You ate off him. You bragged about being at the parties. Now you ducking press like it's a subpoena." The judge didn't interrupt. Even he wanted to hear how this ended. "You want to know how Puff kept power this long?" 50 pointed at the ground. "'Cause you gave it to him. Every time you laughed off a rumor. Every time you let an NDA replace your conscience. Every time you watched someone break down and said, 'That's just Puff being Puff.'" He paused. "That ain't just Puff. That's predation." He leaned into the mic. "This trial ain't about bringing him down. It's about making sure there's no more Puffs." A long beat. Not just in music, in tech, in fashion, in politics, in Hollywood. All these little emperors building kingdoms, off fear and free labor. Then he stood, for the last time. I'm 50 Cent, and I made it without him. But I watched too many good people lose everything trying to follow him. He turned to Diddy, who still hadn't said a word. You built Bad Boy, but the real bad boys are the ones who finally said no. He faced the jury. You want justice? It's not just a verdict, it's a message. He tapped his chest. From the ones who survived and the ones who didn't. Without another word, he walked out of the courtroom, and no one, not even Diddy, dared to follow him.